Hi guys, welcome back to Hillside Homesteading. I'm Salisha. Thank you for joining me for this video. If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the channel, please. It does really help me out. Now today we're gonna be indoors. We're gonna be doing something a little bit different. If you're new to the channel, you probably don't know that we did purchase half a quarter of a beef cow, and we do have a lot of meat in the freezer. We've got steaks and roasts, and we also have some ground beef meat here. So today I'm gonna be using my grinder here, and I'm gonna be grinding it into some ground beef so we can make some hamburger patties and have ground beef for different dishes. I'm gonna pop this in the freezer for like 15 minutes just to get it a little bit frozen. I did read that you want it to be semi-frozen, not completely, just a little bit. It helps grind a little bit easier. So we're gonna be grinding all this meat, and we're gonna be making some hamburger patties and some ground beef. So let's go. All right guys, so let's get started with making our ground beef here. I do have this little hamburger maker. Basically you put it in and you smush it down and it makes perfect hamburger patties. So that's what I'm gonna be doing with the ground beef. So let's get started with grinding up all this beef here. I have some gloves here. It's just gonna make this a lot easier and more sanitary. So let's start. I'm gonna basically, I already installed my my blades here, and the grinder blade and this entire part. You probably will have to buy this for your KitchenAid or whatever it is you're using. So this is just my setup, but yours will probably look completely different depending on the grinder that you're using. You can also use just a regular meat grinder. So Jesse's gonna be my helper, so he's gonna turn it on for me. So this is what it looks like, guys. It's really nicely ground. I do have some great marbling here because I did try to put in some fat along with some of the meat. So I'm gonna put it back in one more time and give it a second grind just so we can get a really, really nice tender hamburger meat. Okay, so we're all done and we got so much ground beef out of here. We got a giant bowl of ground beef. It's huge. And I also am gonna make some hamburger patties, basically like this. I'm just gonna spray this with some oil and then smush it down, and then I'll take them out, and then I can put some saran wrap in between each patty to keep them from sticking, and then I'll stick this in my freezer, and then I have hamburgers ready to go whenever I want. So a couple things we learned doing this for the very first time. Now I'm gonna make sure this is even more frozen once I do the rest of them, because putting it in when they're not so frozen, it actually just makes it a little harder to go through the machine because it's too mushy and wet. And if you freeze it a bit, it's a little solid, and then it just comes out a lot easier. So I'm gonna freeze this a little bit more, as well as you do have to push it in quite a bit to get the meat to come out. So I can imagine if I go a little bit smaller on the blade that it's actually gonna require a bit more arm power. But that's completely fine, because in 10-15 minutes I got so much ground beef, and that's only half of one of these bags, and we have about 5 of these, or 6 even. So we have a lot of ground beef, probably for the rest of the year. All right guys, well, I hope you learned something, and make sure if you are interested in learning a bit more about how we got this beef, you can check out my videos below. Make sure, if you haven't already done so, subscribe and like the video. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay peaceful.